Hello, this is Krista here again, and today I'm going to be doing a video on the trauma impact of CPTSD, BPD, borderline, and other cluster B disorders. And this is for all abuse survivors as well. Okay. People who experience complex trauma, mistreatment, or continued violence and abuse, whether covert or overtly done, including torture, which can be done in a numerous amount of ways, including physical, emotional, psychological, or spiritual ways, can onset layers after layer of trauma on a person, creating many different personality disorders and types, such as borderline personality disorder. Not only this, but there is not enough evidence yet that many cluster B types can be formed at birth with underlying conditions of chemical and nutrient deficiencies in our bodies, creating such disorders handed down to us generationally as such. Some of these CPTSD features for borderlines involve affect dysregulation, altered core beliefs about self, reckless or dangerous impulsive behavior, identity disturbances, potentially self-damaging impulsivity, and self-harming. Usually, CPTSD involves intense and volatile enmeshment in relationships and also social detachment and avoidance. There are more features in CPTSD than PTSD that affect systems or organizations, such as problems in effectiveness, self-concept, and relational concepts. These are caused by heightened emotional reactivity, violent outbursts, reckless or self-destructive behavior, usually experiencing longer dissociative states when under stress. Also, lack of numbing and inability to feel good or bad things as a result. Also, without these feelings, they are only left with feeling voids, which feel worthless, diminished, or defeated, with feelings of shame and guilt as a result. This leaves little hope or capability to hold relationships on a healthy level. They often perceive a feeling level of betrayal and victimization, where they feel levels of more pain than good, as they cannot very well cope with the negative void feelings they are left with. More usual than not, starting at a young age, the individual is taught with more impacted traumas and abuse by usually one or more cluster B type caregivers, therefore never learning more positive strategies and coping skills until later in life. Many people with PTSD, CPTSD, and other cluster B disorders often are left coping with negative mechanisms by using substances like workaholism, gambling, to name some of the addictive coping skills, to make their way through life, oftentimes disturbing themselves to greater depths and levels. Some of the nasty characteristics and traits of cluster B and BPD are terror of abandonment or rejection, smaller or larger cases of denial that there's something wrong with them, such as their disorder, and also idealization and devaluation of others and self. With BPD, 81% report trauma from childhood, like physical abuse, 71%, sexual abuse, 68%, and witnessing violence, 62%. Also experiencing in such cases emotional neglect by impaired caregivers, which traumatize the victims on a further note. That traumatizes the victims more on a further note. Many times, BPD and cluster B personality types will victimize themselves later in life without even knowing it, and left with only an unstable way of handling ways taught and believed that were handed down to them by others, not getting the proper recovery treatment they so need and deserve for themselves. Childhood trauma is also a major factor for mood disorders like bipolar, depressive anxiety, social phobias, obsessive-compulsive eating, and addiction disorders. Thank you for listening today. Hope this is valuable information for everyone. Have a beautiful day.